When I tell you to relax, I am not merely suggesting a physical state of ease, though that is important. I am speaking of a profound inner knowing, a complete surrender to the truth, that what you desire is already yours, in the realm of the invisible. For everything in this world first existed in the imagination before it was brought forth into tangible expression. Most of you here tonight are making the mistake of struggling, of fighting against circumstances, of resisting what appears to be the current reality of your life. And in that very struggle, you are perpetuating the conditions you wish to change. For whatever you resist persists. Whatever you fight against, you strengthen. The secret is not in doing, but in being. Not in struggling, but in knowing. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives. An assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the foundation of all successful manifestation. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and remain faithful to that assumption, the world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. Consider for a moment what you truly desire in your life. Is it wealth, love, recognition? Whatever it may be, it already exists in the realm of infinite possibility. Your task is not to create it, for creation is finished. Your task is to appropriate it through the power of your consciousness. How do you do this? Through the art of relaxation. When you truly relax, you enter a state where your conscious, intellectual mind with all its doubts and fears subsides, and you slip into the state of your subconscious mind, which is the realm of manifestation. It is in this relaxed state that the seed of your desire can be planted effectively. Many of you are trying too hard. You are using forceful power and external action to accomplish what can only be done through the law of consciousness. This is why so many of you are frustrated, for you are working against the very law that would set you free. You are like someone standing at the shore, commanding the tide to change through shouting and physical exertion, when all that is needed is patience and understanding of celestial mechanics. The Bible, which is the greatest psychological book ever written, tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness, this inner quietude, is the state of relaxation I am speaking of. It is in this state that you connect with the creative power of the universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination. Let me tell you a story of a dear friend who came to me in despair. She had been struggling for years to establish her business, working tirelessly, sacrificing her health and relationships, yet making little progress. I told her what I'm telling you now: relax, and you will manifest everything you want. She looked at me incredulously, as perhaps some of you are doing right now. How can I relax, she asked, when bills are piling up and competitors are taking my clients? I explained to her that her very tension, her anxiety, her struggle was creating the reality she was experiencing. For we do not manifest what we want, we manifest what we are. And she was being a person in struggle and lack and fear. I instructed her to spend 30 minutes each evening, just before sleep, in a state of complete relaxation. During this time, she was to imagine herself in her office, receiving calls from new clients, looking at her bank statement showing abundant funds, accepting congratulations from peers on her successful business. Most importantly, she was to feel the naturalness of this scene, to feel as though it were already a fact. But this isn't true, she protested. It's a lie, a fantasy. And here, my friends, is where most people falter. They refuse to imagine what contradicts their sensory experience. But imagination creates reality. The very act of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is what causes it to objectify in your world. She agreed to try my suggestion, skeptical though she was. And what happened? Within 2 months, her business began to change. New opportunities arose seemingly out of nowhere. A large client who had previously rejected her services reached out unexpectedly. A marketing strategy she had implemented months ago suddenly gained traction. And by the end of 6 months, her business had transformed completely. Was this coincidence? Absolutely not. It was the law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and changes in consciousness are reflected in changes in circumstance. Now, some of you may be thinking, if it is as simple as relaxing and imagining, why isn't everyone successful, healthy, and fulfilled? The answer lies in persistence and faith. Most people try these principles briefly, see no immediate results, and abandon them for the old familiar patterns of struggle and effort. They do not understand the gestation period of manifestation. When a farmer plants a seed, he does not dig it up every day to see if it's growing. He trusts in the law of growth, knowing that if he has planted properly and provided the right conditions, the seed must develop into its full potential. Your desires are seeds planted in consciousness, and they too require trust in the process of invisible growth before visible manifestation. Let me be very clear about what I mean by relaxation. It is not laziness. It is not inaction. It is not passivity in the face of life's challenges. True relaxation is the absence of resistance to what is, combined with a faithful assumption of what you wish to be. Consider the life of Jesus as depicted in Scripture. Did he struggle and strain to perform his miracles? No. He relaxed into the knowing that it was already done. Before raising Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. Not I hope you will hear me or please grant my request, but gratitude for what was already accomplished in the invisible." This is the perfect mental posture for manifestation, complete assurance that what you are imagining is already a fact. Now let us discuss the practical application of this principle in your daily life. Begin by identifying what you truly desire. Be specific. If it is wealth, what amount? If it is a relationship, what qualities does it possess? If it is health, how does it feel to be vibrantly well? Clarity is essential, for your subconscious mind requires clear direction. Once you have identified your desire, create a scene that would imply its fulfillment. This scene should be simple, believable to you, and easy to visualize. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, you might imagine checking your bank account and seeing a specific balance or receiving congratulations from a friend on your financial success. Next, find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and take several deep breaths, releasing all tension from your body with each exhale. Feel yourself becoming here, more relaxed with each breath. Allow your mind to quiet, letting thoughts come and go without attachment. When you have reached a state of deep relaxation, bring your scene to mind. Enter it as though you were stepping onto a stage. See the details around you, hear the sounds, feel the emotions, make it as vivid and real as possible. Most importantly, feel the naturalness of it, the of courseness of your desire being fulfilled. Remain in this scene for as long as it feels natural, typically 5 to 3 minutes. Then, gently open your eyes, but carry the feeling of fulfillment with you. This is crucial. The feeling must persist beyond the formal meditation. Repeat this exercise nightly, preferably just before sleep when your subconscious mind is most receptive. Be faithful to it, understanding that you are working with law, not chance or luck. The law states that what you assume with feeling will objectify in your world. During your daily activities, when doubts arise or contrary evidence presents itself, as it inevitably will, remind yourself that what you are seeing is the shadow of past consciousness, not the reality of your new assumption. Refuse to be impressed by appearances that contradict your desire. This does not mean denial of facts, but rather understanding that facts are fluid, that they change in response to changes in consciousness. Many of you wonder why your previous attempts at manifestation have failed. It is because you have not truly relaxed into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You have affirmed with your lips while denying with your heart. You have visualized prosperity while feeling poverty. You have spoken of health while sensing illness. This divided mind cannot manifest effectively. Remember the words of Scripture, "If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." This singleness of vision, this unwavering focus on your desires already fulfilled, is what enables manifestation. A double-minded person, as James tells us, is unstable in all his ways and should not expect to receive anything. Let me tell you about another student of mine, a gentleman who had been seeking a specific position in his company for years. He had all the qualifications, had taken additional courses, had networked with decision makers, yet the promotion eluded him. Others less qualified were selected time and again. When he came to me frustrated and ready to give up, I shared with him this principle of relaxation and assumption. I instructed him to cease all anxious striving, all desperate attempts to prove his worth. Instead, each night before sleep, he was to imagine his superior congratulating him on his new position. He was to feel the handshake, hear the words of praise, experience the satisfaction of achievement. For 3 weeks, he practiced this faithfully. During the day, whenever thoughts of lack or disappointment arose, he would briefly close his eyes and recall the feeling of his imaginal seat. He relaxed into the knowing that the position was already his in consciousness. In the 4th week, his superior called him into the office. A position had opened up, not the exact one he had been seeking, but one even better suited to his skills and with greater responsibility and compensation. He was offered the role without having to apply or interview. The very superior he had imagined congratulating him did exactly that in physical reality. Was this coincidence? No, my friends. It was law in operation. He had planted the seed in consciousness, watered it with faith, and allowed it to grow without interference. He had relaxed into the knowing of its fulfillment, and the outer world reshaped itself accordingly. Now, some of you may be facing challenges that seem insurmountable. Perhaps you have a medical diagnosis that terrifies you, or a financial situation that appears hopeless, or a relationship that is broken beyond repair. The principle remains the same. Relax and know that your consciousness is the only reality. Your present circumstances, no matter how dire they may appear, are only the shadow of past thinking. They have no power to persist unless you give them power through your continued attention and emotional reaction. When you shift your consciousness, when you assume a new state, the shadows must change to match the new light you are casting. The Bible tells us all things are possible to him that believeth. This is not hyperbole, it is a statement of cosmic law. But true belief is not intellectual assent. It is not saying, yes, I believe this can happen. Rather, it is the feeling of naturalness, the feeling that your desire is already fulfilled. It is living from the end. This is where relaxation becomes so vital. When you are tense, anxious, striving, you are broadcasting to the universe that your desire is not yet fulfilled, that it is something to be attained in the future. But manifestation does not work in time as we understand it. It works in states of consciousness. When you relax completely into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you enter the state where it exists. And from that state, it must objectify in your world. Let me share with you a profound truth that may revolutionize your understanding. There is no such thing as a future state of consciousness. All states exist now, in this eternal moment. What you call the future is simply at not usage you have not yet entered consciously. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled now, you are not creating something new. You are selecting from the infinite array of existing states the one that corresponds to your desire. This is why it is so important to relax. Tension and anxiety keep you locked in the state of wanting, of seeking, of not having. Relaxation allows you to slip into the state of already being, having, and doing what you desire. It is a surrender not to circumstances, but to the truth of your divine nature as the operant power in your world. Many of you have been taught that hard work, struggle, and sacrifice are necessary for achievement. And certainly appropriate action has its place. But action that stems from a consciousness of lack, from a sense of having to make something happen, is rarely effective and often counterproductive. True, inspired action flows naturally from a changed state of consciousness. When you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take exactly the right actions at the right time without struggle or strain. Consider the difference between swimming upstream and swimming with the current. Both involve action, but one is exhausting and yields little progress, while the other is effortless and swift. When you relax into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you are swimming with the cosmic current rather than against it. Now let me address a question that often arises. What about the needs and desires of others? What if what I want conflicts with what someone else wants? This concern stems from a misunderstanding of the nature of consciousness and reality. In truth, there is only one consciousness, individualized in what appear to be separate beings. When you operate from this understanding, you realize that your true desires, emerging from your divine nature, cannot conflict with the true desires of another. If you find yourself wanting something that would harm another or deprive them of their good, you are not operating from your divine center, but from a place of fear or lack. True manifestation, emerging from the relaxed knowledge of abundance for all, harms none and blesses everyone it touches. Some of you may be wondering about the role of gratitude in this process. Gratitude is not merely a virtue to be practiced, it is a powerful creative force. When you are grateful for something, you are affirming its reality in your consciousness. This is why the practice of being grateful for your desire, as though it were already fulfilled, is so effective. Begin and end each day with gratitude for the fulfillment of your desires. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction of having what you once sought. This feeling state is magnetic, drawing to you the circumstances, people, and events necessary for the externalization of your assumption. Let me tell you about a woman who came to my lectures many years ago. She had been diagnosed with a condition that her doctor said was incurable and progressive. Medical science offered management of symptoms, but no hope of recovery. She was understandably frightened and discouraged when she first heard me speak about these principles. After the lecture, she approached me and asked if this law could work even in the face of such a diagnosis. I assured her that consciousness is the only reality, and that a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions, regardless of the apparent fixity of the physical world. I suggested that instead of fighting against her condition or fearfully monitoring her symptoms, she should relax completely into the consciousness of perfect health. Each night before sleep, she should feel the naturalness of moving freely, of having abundant energy, of engaging in activities that her condition had prevented. Furthermore, I advised her to mentally hear her doctor expressing amazement at her recovery. She practiced this faithfully, despite occasional setbacks when symptoms flared and doubt crept in. On those days, she would simply return to her practice with even greater determination, understanding that the outer conditions were merely shadows that had not yet caught up with her new consciousness. Within 6 months, her symptoms began to diminish. Within a year, her doctor was indeed expressing amazement at her improvement, ordering new tests to understand what had happened. Today, she lives a life free of both the condition and the restrictions it had imposed. Was this a miracle? Only in the sense that all manifestation is miraculous when viewed from the perspective of the physical world. From the perspective of consciousness, it was simply law in operation, the law that states consciousness is the only reality, and a change in consciousness must result in a change in conditions. Now, my friends, I want to address something that prevents many from successfully applying these principles, the belief that they are unworthy of their desires. Many of you carry deep feelings of unworthiness stemming from childhood experiences, religious conditioning, or societal messages. You may intellectually understand these principles, but emotionally feel that someone like you doesn't deserve such blessings. Let me be absolutely clear. Worthiness is not a prerequisite for manifestation. The law of consciousness is impersonal, like the law of gravity. It does not ask if you deserve to remain safely on the ground. It simply responds to the conditions present. Similarly, the law of consciousness does not question if you deserve your desire. It simply responds to the state you occupy in consciousness. Your divine nature, your true self, is already perfect, already worthy of all good things. When you relax into this truth, when you release the tension of unworthiness and simply assume the state of your wish fulfilled, manifestation must follow, not because you have earned it or deserved it, but because it is law. This understanding liberates you from the endless cycle of proving yourself, of accumulating achievements to justify your desires. You are free to simply be, to assume, to know that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. Some of you are wondering about the time frame for manifestation. How long will it take for my desire to appear in my physical reality? This question, though natural, reveals a misunderstanding of the process. Time is a construct of physical experience, not of consciousness. In consciousness, all is now. The bridge of events between your current physical experience and the manifestation of your desire exists in time, but the assumption of the state is immediate and eternal. The more completely you relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, releasing all anxiety about when and how it will appear, the more rapidly the bridge of events will be crossed. Patience is not waiting for something to happen. It is knowing that it already has happened in consciousness and allowing it to unfold in your experience without interference. Let us now explore another aspect of relaxation, the release of attachment to specific outcomes. Many of you have very fixed ideas about how your desire should manifest through which channels, involving which people, following which timeline. This rigidity creates tension and resistance that impedes the natural flow of manifestation. True relaxation involves surrendering not the desire itself, but your concepts about how it must be fulfilled. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not instruct it on exactly how many leaves to produce or precisely how tall to grow. You trust in the intelligence within the seed to express itself perfectly. Similarly, when you plant the seed of your desire in consciousness, relax and trust in the infinite intelligence of the universe to bring it to fruition in ways that may surpass your limited conception. I recall a man who was determined to resolve a legal dispute in a specific way, involving a particular settlement amount and a public apology from the other party. He had been fighting this battle for years, becoming increasingly bitter and obsessed. When he learned these principles, he began to imagine the feeling of the dispute being resolved satisfactorily. Note that he did not insist on the specific terms, merely the feeling of satisfactory resolution and the freedom to move on with his life. Within weeks, an unexpected opportunity arose for mediation with a renowned third party who specialized in such disputes. The resolution that emerged was entirely different from what the man had envisioned. It involved benefits and recognitions he had not even considered, yet it was far more satisfactory than his original fixed concept. Had he remained rigid in his specifications, he might have missed this perfect resolution. This is the power of relaxing not just your body and mind, but also your concepts and expectations. Allow the infinite intelligence that surrounds and permeates you to orchestrate the fulfillment of your desire in its perfect way. Now, my dear friends, I must address a common misconception about these principles, the belief that they can be used to control or manipulate others. Let me be absolutely clear, you cannot use these principles to make another person act against their will or nature. What you can do is assume a state that allows others to express the aspects of themselves that align with your desire. For example, if you desire a loving relationship with someone who currently appears cold or distant, you would not try to make them love you. Rather, you would assume the state of being in a loving relationship, feeling the naturalness of receiving their love and affection, if they have the capacity for such expression. Your changed consciousness creates the opportunity for that aspect of them to emerge. If they do not have that capacity, your changed consciousness will draw to you someone who does. This understanding releases you from the tension of trying to change others and allows you to focus solely on the one thing you can change: your own consciousness. And in that change of consciousness, miracles of transformed relationships can and do occur. Let me share with you a principle that may illuminate why relaxation is so crucial to successful manifestation. The state of relaxation is the state of relaxation. When you are tense, anxious, striving, your entire being is in a mode of broadcasting, of projecting your fears and doubts. When you relax, you become receptive to infinite possibilities that already exist in consciousness. I think of it as tuning a radio. When you are tense and struggling, you are tuned to the frequency of lack and limitation. When you relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you tune to the frequency where that wish exists as fact. The station has not changed, only your reception has. This is why moments of insight, inspiration, and brilliant ideas often come during periods of relaxation in the shower, while taking a walk, or upon waking from sleep. In these relaxed states, your receptivity is heightened, and the wisdom and abundance of the universe can flow into your consciousness. Make it a practice to create such moments of receptivity throughout your day. They need not be long, even a minute of closed eyes. Deep breathing and feeling the naturalness of your wish fulfilled can shift your frequency dramatically. Furthermore, understand that the feeling of relaxation itself is a powerful attractor. When you are relaxed, confident, and at ease, you become magnetic to your desires. Think of the people you are most drawn to. Are they not those who possess a natural confidence, a relaxed assurance that all is well? This is not coincidence. It is the law of attraction in action. By cultivating this relaxed confidence, this quiet knowing that what you desire is already yours, you become irresistible to the circumstances that will make your desire manifest. People will be inexplicably drawn to assist you. Opportunities will present themselves effortlessly, and obstacles will dissolve before they fully form. I want to address another question that frequently arises. What about desire for material things? Is this spiritual? Many of you have been conditioned to believe that spiritual growth and material abundance are somehow opposed, that to seek physical comfort and prosperity is somehow less noble than seeking purely spiritual attainment. This is a false dichotomy. The material world is simply consciousness objectified. It is the outer expression of inner states. To manifest material abundance from a consciousness of lack and greed would indeed reflect a limited spiritual understanding. But to manifest material abundance from a consciousness of worthiness and abundance for all reflects a profound spiritual truth, that you are a creative being meant to experience the fullness of life in all its dimensions. The key is not what you desire, but the consciousness from which that desire emerges. When you relax into your true nature as a divine being, your desires naturally align with the highest good for yourself and others. From this alignment, all manner of abundance can flow without spiritual compromise. Now, as we approach the conclusion of our discussion, I want to leave you with a practical exercise that encapsulates all we have explored tonight. I call it the Sabbath state, drawing from the biblical concept of Sabbath as a time of rest and restoration. Each day, set aside at least 15 minutes to enter the Sabbath state. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit or lie comfortably, close your eyes, and begin to breathe deeply and slowly. With each exhale, release tension from your body, starting at your head and moving down to your feet. Feel yourself becoming heavier, more relaxed with each breath. When your body is completely relaxed, turn your attention to your mental state. Allow thoughts to come and go without attachment, like clouds passing in the sky. Do not fight against thoughts. Simply observe them without engagement until your mind naturally quiets. Now, from this deeply relaxed state, bring to mind the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not the process of fulfillment, not the striving for it, but the natural feeling of already having what you desire. Feel the relief, the satisfaction, the joy of fulfillment. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Remain in this state for as long as it feels natural, breathing deeply and feeling the reality of your desire as already accomplished. When you are ready, slowly open your eyes, bringing this feeling with you into your daily activities. Practice this faithfully, understanding that you are not trying to make something happen. You are aligning with what already exists in consciousness. The more completely you can relax into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, releasing all anxiety and doubt, the more rapidly and perfectly your desire will objectify in your world. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not a helpless being subject to circumstance. You are a divine creator made in the image of God, with the power to shape your reality through consciousness. The very fact that you can conceive of a desire is proof of your ability to fulfill it, for consciousness is the only reality. When you truly understand and apply this principle, when you relax completely into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will manifest everything you want with an ease and grace that will seem miraculous to those unaware of the law. But you will know it is not miracle, it is law. Not chance, but science. Not hope, but certainty. Go now and practice what you have learned. Relax into the knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness. Feel its reality. Live from that assumption. And watch as the world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. For this is the true art of manifestation, not doing, but being, not struggling, but knowing, not seeking, but finding what was always there within you. Remember these words from Scripture: be still and know that I am God. In that stillness, that relaxation, that surrender to your true nature, all power lies. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and you will indeed manifest everything you want and more. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed friends, and seekers of truth, I stand before you today to impart a message of profound importance, a message that has the power to transform your life in ways you may have never imagined possible. The topic of our discourse is this: act as you can handle anything. Now, I ask you to open your minds and hearts, for what I am about to share with you is not merely a collection of words, but a key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within you. Let us begin by understanding a fundamental truth. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Every circumstance, every event, every person you encounter in your daily life is but a mirror of your own consciousness. This may seem a bold claim, but I assure you it is the very foundation upon which the power of your imagination rests. When you act as if you can handle anything, you are not merely putting on a brave face or engaging in empty posturing. No, my dear friends, you are engaging in the most potent form of creation known to man. You are, in essence, commanding the very fabric of reality to conform to your will. I've said of your gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. These are not mere poetic flourishes, but a profound statement of truth. You are, in your essence, a divine being imbued with the very power of creation. When you truly grasp this truth, when you feel it in the very marrow of your bones, you will understand that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you cannot handle. But how? You may ask, does one begin to act as if they can handle anything? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty, useful only for daydreaming or escaping reality. No. Your imagination is the very workshop in which you forge your reality. When you face a challenge, when you encounter a situation that seems overwhelming, I urge you to close your eyes and enter the theater of your mind. See yourself handling the situation with ease and grace. Feel the confidence coursing through your veins. Hear the words of praise and admiration from those around you. Taste the sweet nectar of success. In short, live in your imagination as if you have already triumphed. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is the art of consciously using your imagination to impress upon your subconscious mind the reality you wish to experience. For you see, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced in the physical world. When you consistently impress upon your subconscious mind the image of yourself as someone who can handle anything, you are literally reprogramming your entire being. You are changing the very essence of who you are at the deepest level. And as you change within, the outer world has no choice but to change in accordance. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, surely there are some things that are truly beyond our control. How can we act as if we can handle these things? To this I say, there's nothing outside of you. The entire universe exists within your consciousness. What you perceive as external circumstances are merely outpicturings of your own states of consciousness. When you truly internalize this truth, you will understand that by changing your inner state, by firmly establishing within yourself the conviction that you can handle anything, you are quite literally changing the universe. For the universe, its infinite wisdom, always conspires to bring about the conditions that match your inner state. Let me share with you a simple technique that you can use to cultivate this state of unshakable confidence. Before you go to sleep each night, enter into a state of relaxation. Allow your body to become completely at ease and your mind to become still. Then, in this receptive state, begin to imagine a scene that implies you have already become the person who can handle anything. Perhaps you see yourself confidently addressing a large audience or skillfully navigating a complex business negotiation. Maybe you picture yourself remaining calm and centered in the face of a personal crisis. The specific scene is not important. What matters is that it implies the fulfillment of your desire to be someone who can handle anything. As you imagine this scene, allow yourself to fully enter into it. Feel the emotions you would feel if this were actually happening. Experience the sensations in your body. Hear the sounds, smell the scents, taste the flavors. Make it as real and vivid as possible. Then, holding this image and these feelings, drift off to sleep. What you're doing in this exercise is impressing upon your subconscious mind that its most receptive state the reality you wish to experience. Your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, will then go to work to bring about the conditions that match this inner image. Now I want to address a common misconception. Some of you may be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just self-deception? Aren't we fooling ourselves by pretending we can handle things that we actually can't? There's no pretending. There's no self-deception. There is only the recognition and acceptance of your true nature as a divine being. When you act as if you can handle anything, you are not putting on an act. You are stepping into your true identity. You are claiming your birthright as a child of God, as a being of infinite potential. This is not arrogance or hubris. This is the humble acceptance of the truth of your being. Consider the words of Jesus. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. This is not a promise of some future fulfillment. This is a statement of a present reality. When you truly believe, when you act from the conviction that you have already received what you desire, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe. This principle applies to every aspect of your life. Whether you're facing a challenging work situation, a difficult relationship, a health crisis, or any other perceived obstacle, the key is to act from the state of having already overcome it. Feel the relief, the joy, the confidence that comes from having handled the situation successfully. As you do this, you may find that the outer circumstances begin to shift in ways that seem miraculous. People may suddenly become more cooperative. Resources may appear as if out of nowhere. Solutions to problems may present themselves with surprising ease. This is not coincidence or luck. This is the natural result of aligning your inner state with the outcome you desire. But what about those times when, despite your best efforts, things seem to go wrong? What about those moments when you feel overwhelmed, when you doubt your ability to handle what life has thrown at you? In these moments, my dear friends, it is more important than ever to persist in your assumption. Remember, what you're experiencing in the outer world is merely the shadow of past thoughts and assumptions. It is the fruit of seeds planted in the past. But you have the power here and now to plant new seeds. You have the power to choose a new assumption, to step into a new state of being. In these challenging moments, return to your imagination. Step once again into that inner theater. See yourself moving through the challenge with ease and grace. Feel the strength and confidence flowing through you. No, with unshakable certainty that you can and will handle whatever comes your way. As you do this, you may find that the very nature of the challenge begins to change. What once seemed insurmountable may suddenly reveal itself as an opportunity for growth. What appeared as an obstacle may transform into a stepping stone. For when you change your perception, you change your reality. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how long will it take for my outer world to reflect this new inner state? To this I sigh. Time is an illusion of the physical world. In the realm of spirit, in the realm of your true being, there is only the eternal now. Your task is not to worry about when or how your desire will manifest. Your task is to live here and now in the state of its fulfillment. Act as if you can handle anything, not because you are waiting for this ability to manifest in the future, but because you recognize it as your true nature in this very moment. As you consistently maintain this state, you will find that your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner conviction. The speed at which this occurs is not important. What matters is your unwavering faith, your persistent assumption of the state of being you desire. Let me share with you a powerful affirmation that you can use to reinforce this state. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Repeat this to yourself throughout the day, especially in moments when you feel challenged or doubtful. Let these words sink deep into your consciousness, becoming the very foundation of your being. As you do this, you may find that your entire perception of life begins to shift. Challenges that once seemed daunting may now appear as exciting opportunities for growth. Situations that once caused fear may now fill you with a sense of eager anticipation. For when you truly know that you can handle anything, Life becomes an adventure rather than a struggle. But remember, my dear friends, this is not about becoming invincible in the physical sense. It is not about never experiencing difficulties or setbacks. Rather, it is about cultivating an inner state of unshakable confidence and peace, regardless of outer circumstances. Think of it this way. Just as the depths of the ocean remain calm even when the surface is whipped into a frenzy by a storm, so too can your inner being remain serene and confident even amidst the turbulence of life. This inner calm, this unwavering certainty that you can handle anything, becomes your anchor in any storm. Now, let us delve deeper into the mechanics of how this transformation occurs. When you act as if you can handle anything, you are engaging in what I call the law of assumption. This law states that if you assume a certain state of being and persist in that assumption, it must become your reality. This is not wishful thinking or mere positive affirmation. This is a fundamental law of consciousness, just as the law of gravity operates consistently in the physical world. So does the law of assumption operate consistently in the realm of consciousness. When you assume the state of being someone who can handle anything, you're literally reconfiguring your entire being. Your thoughts, your emotions, your very vibration shifts to align with this new state. And as you persist in this state, the outer world has no choice but to conform to this new inner reality. Consider for a moment the story of David and Goliath. On the surface, it appears to be a tale of an underdog triumphing against impossible odds. But viewed through the lens of the law of assumption, we see a different story. David did not see himself as an underdog. He assumed a state of victory before the battle even began. He acted as if he could handle anything, including a giant warrior who had struck fear into the hearts of seasoned soldiers. In your life, you will face many Goliaths. These may take the form of challenging circumstances, difficult people, or your own limiting beliefs. But remember, just as David did, you have the power to assume the state of victory before the battle even begins. You have the power to act as if you can handle anything. And in doing so, you transform the very nature of the challenges you face. But how? You may ask, does one maintain this state of assumption in the face of contrary evidence? How does one continue to act as if they can handle anything when the outer world seems to be crumbling around them? The answer lies in understanding the nature of reality itself. What you perceive as solid, immutable reality is in fact incredibly fluid and responsive to your consciousness. The world you see around you is not an objective, fixed entity. It is a reflection of your own states of consciousness, constantly shifting and changing in response to your inner worlds. When you truly grasp this truth, you will understand that the evidence of your senses is always secondary to the truth of your being. Your task is not to deny or fight against what your senses show you, but to persist in your assumption regardless of appearances. This requires a certain level of mental discipline, a willingness to stand firm in your conviction, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. But as you practice this, as you consistently choose to act from the state of being able to handle anything, you will find that your outer world begins to shift to match this inner state. Remember, the power that creates worlds resides within you. You are not a helpless victim of circumstances, but a divine creator shaping your reality with every thought, every feeling, every assumption. When you act as if you can handle anything, you are exercising this creative power in its highest form. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing these principles. But never, what about other people? Surely we can't control their actions or attitudes. To this I say, there are no other people in the way you might think. What you perceive as separate individuals are, in fact, aspects of your own consciousness, playing roles in the grand drama of your life. This may seem like a radical idea, but consider for a moment. Have you ever noticed how people tend to treat you in accordance with how you expect to be treated? Have you ever observed how your relationships seem to reflect your own inner attitudes and beliefs? This is not coincidence. This is the law of assumption at work. When you truly embody the state of someone who can handle anything, you will find that the people in your life begin to reflect this back to you. Those who once seemed difficult or challenging may suddenly become supportive and cooperative. Those who once triggered feelings of inadequacy, you may now inspire feelings of confidence and capability. This is not because you have changed them, but because you have changed yourself. As you assume the state of being able to handle anything, you are literally recasting the roles of everyone in your life. You are rewriting the script of your life's drama from a place of empowerment and confidence. But remember, this is not about controlling or manipulating others. It is about recognizing your own divine nature and allowing it to express itself fully in every aspect of your life. As you do this, you will find that your relationships become more harmonious, your interactions more fulfilling, and your overall experience of life more joyful and empowering. Now, let us explore how this principle of acting as if you can handle anything applies to specific areas of your life. In your career, for instance, imagine how differently you would approach challenges if you truly believed you could handle anything that came your way. How would you carry yourself in meetings? How would you tackle difficult projects? How would you interact with colleagues and superiors? When you act from this state of unshakable confidence, you naturally command respect and admiration. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach may suddenly present themselves. Promotions and advancements may come with surprising ease. This is not because the outer circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. You have aligned yourself with a higher state of being, and the outer world has no choice but to reflect this back to you. In your personal relationships, acting as if you can handle anything can lead to profound transformations. Imagine approaching your partnerships from a place of complete self-assurance and inner peace. How would this change the dynamic? How would it affect the way you communicate, the way you give and receive love? When you no longer come from a place of neediness or fear, when you truly know that you can handle anything, your relationships naturally become more balanced and fulfilling. You attract partners who reflect your own inner strength and confidence. Conflicts that once seemed insurmountable now become opportunities for growth and deeper connection. In matters of health and well-being, the principle of acting as if you can handle anything is particularly powerful. Your body is incredibly responsive to your mental and emotional states. When you truly believe that you can handle any health challenge that comes your way, you create an inner environment that supports healing and vitality. This doesn't mean denying or ignoring health issues. Rather, it means approaching them from a place of empowerment rather than fear. It means trusting in your body's innate wisdom and ability to heal. It means knowing at the deepest level that you have the strength and resilience to overcome any health challenge. As you consistently maintain this state of inner confidence and trust, you may find that your physical health begins to improve in ways that seem miraculous. Chronic conditions may begin to alleviate. Your energy levels may increase. Your overall sense of well-being may soar. Again, this is not magic or wishful thinking. This is the natural result of aligning your inner state with the outcome you desire. Now, I want to address a common pitfall that many people encounter on this journey. It's the tendency to judge oneself harshly when things don't seem to be manifesting as quickly or easily as desired. Remember, my dear friends, judgment is a state that keeps you bound to the very conditions you wish to change. Instead of judging yourself or your progress, practice compassion and persistence. If you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of doubt or fear, gently guide your attention back to the state of knowing you can handle anything. This is not a battle or a struggle. It is a gentle, persistent realignment with your true nature. Think of it tuning a musical instrument. When a string goes out of tune, you don't berate the instrument or give up in frustration. You simply adjust the string, bring it back into harmony. In the same way, when you find yourself out of alignment with the state of being able to handle anything, simply readjust. Return to your imagination. Step once again into the feeling of unshakable confidence and capability. As you practice this, you will find that maintaining this state becomes easier and more natural. What once required conscious effort now becomes your default way of being. You begin to embody the truth of who you really are. a divine being of infinite potential, capable of handling anything and everything that life presents. Now let's explore how this principle can be applied to goals and aspirations. When you act as if you can handle anything, you naturally set bigger goals for yourself.
You see, my dear friends, the world of manifestation, that is the world of physical activity, is not the primary reality. It is, in fact, secondary to the world of imagination. Your imagination is the very workshop of creation, the place where all things begin. It is the source from which all that is made flows forth into being. And it is through the power of your imagination, harnessed and directed through visualization, that you can shape your reality to match your deepest desires. Now, I know that for many of you, this may seem like a radical concept. You have been taught from childhood that the world is a fixed, unyielding place, and that your role in it is largely that of a passive observer, subject to forces beyond your control. But I am here to tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. You are not a mere spectator in the grand theater of life, but its author, director, and star performer all rolled into one. The technique I am about to share with you is not new. It is old as consciousness itself. It has been used by the great mystics, sages, and creators throughout history. It is the very method by which the universe itself came into being. And yet, for all its power and antiquity, it remains largely unknown or misunderstood by the vast majority of people. This technique is based on a simple yet profound principle. That which you hold in your imagination with feeling and conviction must, by the very laws of creation, manifest in your physical experience. It is not a matter of if, but when. The only variable is the intensity of your belief and the clarity of your vision. Let us begin by understanding the nature of imagination itself. Your imagination is not, as many believe, a frivolous faculty useful only for daydreaming or entertaining idleness. It is, in fact, the very essence of your being. It is the God power within you, the creative force that shapes worlds. When you imagine, you are literally tapping into the same power that brings galaxies into being and sustains the big fabric of existence. But here's the crucial point. Your imagination operates unceasingly, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Every moment of every day, you are using this God power to create your reality. The question is not whether you are using your imagination, but how you are using it. Are you using it consciously with purpose and direction, or are you allowing it to run wild, reflecting and magnifying your fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs? The technique I am about to share with you will enable you to harness this power consciously and deliberately. It will allow you to direct the full force of your creative imagination towards the realization of your desires. And make no mistake, my friends, when applied correctly and consistently, this technique never fails. It cannot fail, for it is based on the fundamental laws of creation itself. Now let us delve into the heart of this technique. The first step is to clearly what it is you wish to experience. This may seem obvious, but it is a step that many overlook or rush through. You must be absolutely clear about what you want. Vague wishes or general hopes will not suffice. You must be specific and detailed in your desire. Once you have clearly defined your desire, the next step is to create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of this desire. This is where many people falter, for they focus on the process of achieving their desire rather than the end result. But I tell you this, the how is not your concern. Your task is to focus solely on the end, on the feeling of your desire fulfilled. For example, let's say your desire is for a new home. Don't visualize the process of house hunting, securing a mortgage, or moving. Instead, create a scene that implies you are already living in your new home. Perhaps you are entertaining friends in your living room or waking up in your bedroom. The specific scene doesn't matter as long as it implies the fulfillment of your desire. Now here's where the real power of this technique comes into play. Once you have created your scene, you must enter into it fully. You must make it so real in your imagination that it takes on the tones of reality. You must see it, feel it, touch it, smell it, hear it. Use all your senses to make this imaginal scene as vivid and real as possible. But mere visualization is not enough. The key to this technique, the element that makes it unfailingly effective, is feeling. You must feel the reality of your imagined scene. You must generate within yourself the emotions you would experience if your desire were already fulfilled. This feeling is the secret and the power of the entire operation. You see, my dear friends, in the realm of imagination, there is no distinction between what is real and what is imagined. Your subconscious mind, which is directly connected to the creative power of the universe, cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a physical. When you combine clear visualization with genuine, you are literally experiencing your desire in a realm that is more real, more fundamental than the physical world. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I've tried visual vision before, and it didn't work. To this I say, you have not truly visualized until you have felt the reality of your agency. Mere mental pictures are not enough. You must feel it to be real. You must generate within yourself the conviction that what you are imagining is not a future possibility, but a present fact. This is where most people falter in their attempts at manifestation. They treat their imaginal scenes as pleasant fantasies or hopeful daydreams. But I tell you this, your imaginal acts must be as real to you as any physical experience. In fact, they must be more real, for they are the cause and physical reality is merely the effect. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Many people, when they visualize wealth, see themselves counting money or looking at a bank statement with a large balance. But these are external symbols of wealth. They do not capture the feeling of being wealthy. Instead, I want you to imagine a scene that implies the feeling of financial abundance. Perhaps you're sitting in a beautiful restaurant ordering whatever you desire without a second thought about the cost. Or maybe you're calmly writing a large check for a charitable cause dear to your heart, knowing that you have more than enough. Feel the peace, the security, the joy that comes with true financial abundance. Let these feelings permeate your entire being. When you can do this, when you can make your imaginal scene so real that it elicits genuine emotion, you are set in motion forces that must, by the very nature of creation, bring your desire to physical manifestation. For you see, my friends, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. What you hold to be true in your imagination with feeling must externalize itself in your experience. Now I can sense that some of you are struggling with this concept. You're thinking, but Neville, how can my imagination change external circumstances? How can it affect other people or events beyond my control? And to this I say there are no external circumstances. There are no other people in the sense that you think of them. There is only consciousness, only imagination. This may seem like a radical statement, but I assure you it is the absolute truth. The entire universe, with all its seeming solidity and complexity, is nothing more than consciousness made visible. And your individual consciousness is not separate from the universal consciousness. It is one with it, a focal point of the infinite creative power that underlies all of existence. When you truly grasp this truth, when you internalize it and make it the foundation of your understanding, you will see that there are no limits to what you can achieve through the power of your imagination. For in reality, you are not changing external circumstances at all. You are simply shifting your consciousness. And in doing so, you shift the entire universe. Let's delve deeper into this concept, for it is crucial to understanding the full power of the technique I am sharing with you. Most people believe that their thoughts and feelings are a reaction to external circumstances. They believe that they feel happy because something good happened, or sad because something bad occurred. But I tell you this, your thoughts and feelings are not the effect of circumstances, they are the cause of them. Your consciousness is the only reality. The world you experience is nothing more than your consciousness pushed out. Every person, every object, every circumstance in your life is a reflection of your own mental states. This is why two people can experience the same external event in completely different ways. It's not the event itself that determines their experience, but their consciousness. Now, I know this may be difficult to accept at first. It flies in the face of everything you've been taught about the nature of reality. But I urge you to test this principle for yourself. For when you begin to live from this understanding, you will experience a freedom and a power beyond anything you've ever known. Let's return to our technique of visualization. When you create a scene implying the fulfillment of your desire, and when you enter into that scene with full sensory vividness and genuine feeling, you are literally rearranging the entire universe. You are shifting your consciousness, and in doing so, you are shifting the reflection that is your physical reality. This is why it's so crucial to persist in your imaginal act until it takes on the tones of reality. You must continue to return to your scene, to live in it and from it, until it feels more real to you than your current physical circumstances. This is not always easy. It requires discipline and persistence. But I assure you the results are well worth the effort. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in this process. You may be thinking, surely, Neville, we must do something in the physical world to bring about our desires. And to this I say, inspired action will naturally flow from your shift in consciousness. When you have truly impressed your subconscious mind with the reality of desire fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the right actions at the right time. But, and this is crucial, you must not force action from a place of lack or need. Any action taken from the belief that you need to make your desire happen is counterproductive. It stems from a lack of faith in the creative power of your imagination. Instead, allow action to arise naturally as a result of your new state of consciousness. Remember, the world is a shadow, a reflection of your inner world. When you change the inner, the outer must change to match her. This is not wishful thinking or magical thinking. It is the fundamental law of creation. It is how the universe itself operates. Now, let me address another question that often arises when I speak of this technique. Many people ask, how long will it take for my desire to manifest? And to this I say, time is an illusion of the physical world. In the realm of imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your desire is fulfilled the moment you feel the reality of its fulfillment in your imagination. The time it takes for your desire to appear in your physical appearance depends on many factors, including the naturalness of the desire, the intensity of your feeling, and your ability to persist in the assumption of its fulfillment. But know this, the moment you have succeeded in feeling the reality of desire fulfilled, its manifestation in the physical world is assured. This brings us to another crucial aspect of this technique, detachment. Once you have impressed your subconscious mind with the reality of your desire fulfilled, you must release it. You must let go of anxiety or urgency about its manifestation. For anxiety and urgency stem from a lack of faith, from the belief that your desire is not yet yours. Instead, lie from the calm assurance that what you have experienced in imagination is now a fact. Go about your daily life from this new state of consciousness. This doesn't mean you forget about your desire. Rather, you live from the state of its fulfillment, regardless of what your physical senses are telling you. This detachment is not indifference. It is supreme confidence. It is the knowing that what you have claimed in imagination is now yours in reality, and that its physical manifestation is merely a matter of time. This attitude of calm assurance is incredibly powerful. It aligns you with the creative forces of the universe and allows your desire to manifest with ease and grace. Now I want to address a common pitfall that many fall into when practicing this technique. They visualize their desire, they feel its reality, and then they look to the physical world for signs of its manifestation. When they don't see immediate results, they become discouraged and doubt the process. But I tell you this, do not judge by appearances. The physical world, being the shadow of consciousness, often takes time to reflect the changes in your imagination. Your task is to persist in the assumption of your desire fulfilled, regardless of what your physical senses are telling you. Remember, your senses show you the world as it was, not as it is becoming. This persistence in the face of contrary evidence is what separates those who succeed with this technique from those who fail. It requires faith, not blind faith, but faith born of understanding. Faith in the creative power of your own imagination. Faith that what you have experienced as real in your imagination must, by the very laws of creation, manifest in your physical reality. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Suppose you are using this technique to manifest a promotion at work. You create a scene implying you have already received the promotion. Perhaps you imagine yourself sitting in your new office or receiving congratulations from your colleagues. You enter fully into this scene, making it vivid and real in your imagination. You feel the joy, the pride, the sense of accomplishment that comes with this promotion. Now, having done this, you go to work the next day. Nothing seems to have changed. Your boss doesn't mention anything about a promotion. Your colleagues treat you the same as always. This is where many people falter. They allow the evidence of their physical senses to negate their imaginal experience. But the person who understands the true power of this technique does not waver. They continue to live from the assumption that the promotion is theirs. They interact with their boss and colleagues from this new state of consciousness. They perform their work with the confidence and authority of someone in their new position. They persist in this assumption, regardless of appearances, until the physical world reshapes itself to match their inner conviction. This, my dear friends, is the true test of your faith in this technique. Can you persist in the assumption of your desire fulfilled and all physical evidence that seems to contradict it? Can you remain loyal to your experience in the face of apparent failure or delay? If you can, then I assure you your success is guaranteed. For you see, this technique is not about forcing the world to bend to your will. It is about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. It is about realizing that you are one with this power, that it flows, that is through you and as you. When you visualize this feeling, you are not sending out a request to some external force. You are awakening to the truth of who you really are, a creative force capable of shaping reality itself. Now let's delve even deeper into the mechanics of this technique. When you create your scene and enter into its full sensory vividness, you are doing something truly remarkable. You are literally creating a new memory. Your subconscious mind, which cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one, accepts this new memory as fact. This is crucial because your subconscious mind is the part of you that is directly connected to the creative power of the universe. It is the part of you that shapes your reality according to your beliefs and assumptions. By impressing a new memory upon your subconscious, you are literally reprogramming the metrics of your reality. Think about this for a moment. Every experience you've ever had, every belief you hold, every assumption you make about the nature of reality, all of these are based on memories. They are based on past experiences that have shaped your understanding of what is possible and what is not. But what if you could create new memories? Memories of experiences you desire, but have not yet had it in the physical world. This is exactly what you're doing when you use this visualization technique correctly. You are creating a new memory of your desire fulfilled, and your subconscious mind, accepting this new memory as fact, begins to reshape your reality to match it. It influences your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and even the actions of others around you, all to bring about the manifestation of your imagined experience. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal scene as vivid and real as possible. The more real it feels, the more readily your subconscious mind will accept it as fact. And the more completely your subconscious accepts it, the more powerfully and rapidly it will work to bring it into physical manifestation. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, what if I can't make my imaginal scene feel real? What if I struggle to generate feeling of my desire fulfilled? To this I say, practice. Like any skill, the ability to make your imaginal scenes feel real improves with practice. Start with small things. Visualize yourself enjoying a favorite meal or receiving good news. Practice feeling the reality of these simple scenes until it becomes second nature. As you become more adept at this, you can move on to larger desires. But remember, the size of the desire is irrelevant to the creative power of your imagination. In the realm of imagination, there is no distinction between big and small desires. All are equally possible, equally real. Another powerful aspect of this technique is repetition. While a single intensely real imagination can be enough to set the fields of manifestation in motion, repeated imaginal acts can be incredibly powerful. They serve to deepen your conviction, to make your new assumption feel more and more natural. But and this is crucial, your repetitions must not stem from a sense of lack or need. You're not repeating your imaginal act because you're trying to make it happen. You're repeating it because it's enjoyable, because living from the state of your desire fulfilled is pleasurable in itself. Each repetition should deepen your feeling of naturalness, your sense that this is simply who you are and how your world is. Now let's address another important point. Some of you may be wondering about the ethics of this technique. You may be thinking, if I can manifest anything I desire, what's to stop me from using this power selfishly or to harm others? This is a profound question, and it speaks to the very nature of consciousness and creation. First, let me say this: true harm to another is impossible in the highest sense because there is no other in reality. We are all one consciousness, individualized into seemingly separate beings. What you do to another, you do to yourself. This understanding naturally leads to an ethical use of this creative power. Moreover, as you begin to use this technique and experience its results, you will find your desires naturally becoming more aligned with the highest good of all. For you will realize that your joy or fulfillment is not separate from the joy and fulfillment of others. You will find yourself naturally desiring and creating experiences that uplift and benefit not just yourself, but all of consciousness. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of your state of being. You see, my dear friends, what you get is not always what you think you want, but always a perfect reflection of your state of being. This is why it's so important to focus on the feeling of your desire fulfilled rather than on the external symbols of circumstances. For example, if you think you want wealth because you believe it will make you feel secure and free, focus on the feeling of security and freedom rather than on specific amounts of money. For it's entirely possible to have great wealth and still feel insecure and constrained. Conversely, it's possible to feel deeply secure and free with modest means. By focusing on the state of being you desire, you open yourself to countless ways in which the universe can deliver that state to you. This understanding also helps to dissolve any sense of conflict or competition in your manifestations. You're not trying to get something at the expense of someone else. You're simply aligning yourself with the state of being you desire and allowing the infinite creativity of the universe to bring it in a way that serves the highest good of all. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to touch on one final crucial point. This technique, powerful as it is not merely a tool for getting things or achieving specific goals. It is in its deepest sense a path to self-realization. For as you practice this technique, as you experience its results, you come to a profound realization you are the creator of your reality. This realization is nothing less than an awakening to your true nature. You begin to understand that you are not a limited physical being subject to the whims of an external world. You are consciousness itself, the very substance and source of all that is. The world you experience is your consciousness made visible. As this understanding deepens, you may find your desires changing. The things you once thought would bring you fulfillment may lose their appeal. Instead, you may find yourself drawn to experiences that expand your consciousness, that allow you to express more and more of your true divine nature. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate purpose of this technique. Yes, it can bring you the things you desire in the physical world. But more importantly, it can lead you to the realization of who you truly are. It can awaken you to your own divine nature, to the limitless creative power that is your birthright. So as you go forth from here, as you begin to apply this technique in your own life, remember this: you are not merely seeking to change your circumstances. You are embarking on a journey of self-discovery. You are uncovering the truth of your own being. And in doing so, you are fulfilling the very purpose of creation itself. You see, the entire universe, with all its infinite diversity and complexity, is consciousness exploring itself, experiencing itself in endless variety as a form and expression. And you in your individual life are the universe doing exactly that. Your desires, your imaginal acts, your experiences, all are the universe coming to know itself through you. As you use this technique, as you create and live from the state of your desires fulfilled, you are participating consciously in this grand adventure of creation. You are aligning yourself with the very purpose of existence. And in doing so, you open yourself to experiences of joy, fulfillment, one wonder beyond anything you may have previously imagined. So go forth, my beloved friends, and create. Use this technique with confidence and joy. Know that as you do so, you are not just changing your individual circumstances, but participating in the evolution of consciousness itself. You are fulfilling your divine purpose, expressing the infinite creative power that is your true nature. Remember always, your imagination is the God power within you. It is the creative force that shapes worlds. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, and use it often. For in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the transformation of all of creation. And know this, as you embark on this journey, as you begin to live from the power of your imagination, you are never alone. The entire universe supports you in your creative endeavors. For your success, your joy, your fulfillment is the success, joy, and fulfillment of life itself. So visualize boldly, feel deeply, and persist faithfully. For as you do, align yourself with the very power that creates worlds. And that alignment, all things become possible. You become the conscious author of your life, the deliberate creator of your reality. This, my dear friends, is your birthright. This is your true nature. Claim it, live from it. And watch and wonder as your world transforms to match the beauty and power of your own divine imagination. Thank you, and may your journey of conscious creation be filled with joy, wonder, and the deep satisfaction of expressing your true divine nature. Remember always, you are the operant power in your world. You are the God power made manifest. Live from this truth, and all that you desire must come to pass. For such is the law of creation, and such is the power of your own wonderful human imagination.